Should the Miami Dolphins make a move for one of the top tight ends that came out of the 2023 draft? We're going to talk about that. Also, a cornerback name hit the free agent market that seems like a guy that Chris Grier might chase down to pair with Jalen Ramsey. We will discuss that. Plus, did the Miami Dolphins miss the boat on potentially tagging and trading Jevon Holland? We will discuss all of these things, plus so much more. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into this one.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field on the near side, man open. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. It's going over the touchdown again. Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. I appreciate each and every one of you coming through. Please do me the favor, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. We're about 24 away from 17K. I want to do a big giveaway for 5 people at 20K. So let's get there, please, people. Let's get there. All right. So we got quite a bit to talk about today as we get into it. But before we do, we haven't done one of these in quite some time. It's been quite a while, so let's do it. What up to Charles Hilton, Jason Keck, Andrew Harris, Foxing Around, Robert Thomason, Paulie King 305, Jeffrey Ward, Pro Special, G Reed, Peter Gannum, Brian 35, Omar Brown, Jason Stamps, Kurok 1972, 99. Shout out to you, sir. Kevin Williams, Lights Out, Joey LaSalle. Shout out to everyone who's checking in. I don't know if I shouted him out, but I'm going to. Scotty, what's going on, bro? What's up, Jeff Stoudemire, Dennis Kirking, Tori Dixon, All Lakers, Kristen Reinhardt, Kenny Maya, Maya. Who else we got here? Yeah. Sean Davis. What's going on? Jeff Premont. Hope everyone is having a fantastic evening and beginning to their Tuesday night. All right. We got, is it a jam-packed show? We got things to talk about. What up, M-Cord? We got things to talk about. It's not overly jam-packed. I mean, the one thing I will talk about, though, is if you've noticed, names are starting to get cut. I mean, we've talked about some of them, Alex Kappa. We're going to talk about some of them today. Names are starting to get cut, man. Names are starting to get cut. One thing I do want to talk about is, this continues to be real. Like, people are turning this into a race thing with Shedeur Sanders, man. If it's a race thing, why is Cam Ward clearing away number one? This Shedeur Sanders thing is just turning into a circus already. You can tell the PR team behind him is trying to spin it. And the fact of the matter is, there's going to be people like me who are just not blown away by the film. I have a second-round grade on Shedeur Sanders. So that's why when I heard the rumors coming out from the Combine that teams have legitimate second-round grades on him, I'm not shocked. I am not shocked at all. Shedeur doesn't, he doesn't have the upside of a Dart or a Milrow. He doesn't have that fourth quarter DNA, like Cam Ward. He doesn't have the arm Cam Ward has. He doesn't have the arm talent Cam Ward has. Like, I don't know why people are blown away by this. Man, I really can't. It's like, and Scotty nailed it. We all knew this was a bad quarterback class to come in with. We've been talking about this for over a year. Since last year's draft class, we've been talking about how weak this class is going to be. And I don't know if you saw the reports, but the reports were out in ESPN today that they're already talking about the 2026 draft class. And guess who QB1 is right now? It's Garrett Nussmeier. The way I've heard it is it's Garrett Nussmeier's QB1, Drew Aller's QB2, and the rest may fall as they may, because Arch Manning and Nico Iamaleava aren't expected to come out next year. Like, they're already talking about the 2026 class, because there's some interesting names in that class. So, this whole Shedeur stuff, man, just watch the film. He doesn't do anything. He has no superpower. Like, you look at Tua, his anticipation. You look at the things he does from the pocket. He's got superpowers from the pocket. He doesn't have athletic superpowers. That's his issue. Or that's the issue people will say about him. Shedeur doesn't have athletic, nor does he have pocket superpowers. That's what, like, you watch the film, man. It's like watching a Madden player sometimes. Huh? This guy will drift, instead of drifting right to left to the hashes in the pocket, he'll drift all the way back and turn a 4-yard sack into like 16, 12 yards. And I've said this. I think Nussmeier and Aller, if they came into this class, they might have jumped. They probably would have jumped Shedeur by this time. Nussmeier needs another year, but his father is now a offensive coordinator in the NFL. Right, with the Saints. He got promoted. So, listen, Cam Ward is a stud. Cam Ward is, you know why Cam Ward's going to work in the NFL? I'm going to tell you right now. That fourth quarter DNA. That ish is translatable to the NFL. Cam Ward's going to work. Cam Ward's got that winner's DNA. Cam Ward is going to do it. All right, I wouldn't have any doubt. He's got that dog mentality. He's got the arm talent. He's got the confidence in the pocket, Like, look at how confident he would look when he knew he had the protection. This man would, like, just sit there and, like, throw a touchdown. Like, Cam Ward's just a different level, man. I'm sorry. Shedeur Sanders does some things that Tua does, just not as high as I've talked about this. Throws the spots and throws the anticipation, just not as a superpower level like Tua. He's nowhere near the processor Tua is. He doesn't have the pocket presence. I don't know who started the narrative in this community that he's some kind of athlete that can play out of structure consistently and just create crazy plays and extend. He's not that. That's like Dart and Milroe. I don't know who told him that. I don't know who said that about Shedeur Sanders, because there seems to be that narrative out there, which is just crazy. Like, Cam Ward's far more better out of structure. So, I'm just saying. And you talk about, man, y'all complain that Tua holds the ball too much when he has the quickest release in the NFL. Figure that one out. Shedeur Sanders, the guy holds the ball a lot, and you know why? Because he's kind of got the Aaron Rodgers. Remember Aaron Rodgers from a couple years ago where he didn't want to where he was worried about his completion percentage and he didn't like throwing the ball away? That's kind of what Shedeur is. That's literally what Shedeur is. He worries about his statistics. I told y'all. Like, I got no problem with him carrying himself that he thinks he's the best. So this whole arrogant, but I don't know. What I got issues with him is when he goes in front of cameras and throws teammates under the bus. That's what I got an issue with. As a quarterback, you just can't do that. So, yeah. I got a second round. He's my QB3. And he would have been QB4. He could have been dropped to QB5 if two things would have happened. If Tyler Show would have been younger. If Tyler Show was like 22, 23, Tyler Show and Jackson Dart are battling for 2 and 3 right now. Okay, that's number one. But he's going to be 26 in September. So he's 5 for me. He kind of caps there. Because I look at him as like, how much ceiling does Show really have? Yeah. Anyways, number 5. And if Milroe was more refined as a passer, he would be higher on this list than Shedeur. You know? It is what it is. Oh, no. Fox, there ain't no way Sanders going to be better than Cam. Ain't no way. Go watch Sanders against top 25 teams, bro. He just doesn't have that. He doesn't have, and I'm not saying you because I've never heard you say this. But for all those people who are like, oh, Tua doesn't have that dog in him in the fourth quarter, but Sanders don't have that. Against good defenses. He don't have that. He don't. Cam got that, though. Cam got that. Bro, Cam out here in fourth quarters, defense, man, that defense, bro. Dude, they couldn't stop a beach ball. And this guy is out here just balling out of control. Cam Ward got that, man. Cam Ward got that. He's the only, honestly, like, Cam Ward's the only quarterback that should go in the first round. I've even said this. I thought Jackson I wanted at 48 at the beginning of the year. Jackson Dart, I have a second round grade on. I have a higher second round grade on Dart than I do on Shedeur, but I have a second on Shedeur as well. But they're gonna go in the first round, and they're both gonna go top 20. Jackson Dart's gonna go top 20. Shedeur Sanders gonna go top 20, and they shouldn't be going until the second round. Let's be real here. Now, what I've been thinking about in the back of my mind is, are we going to get tricked? And what I mean by that is we all thought Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett and some of those guys, well, not me with Kenny Pickett. I hated him coming out. But we thought some of those quarterbacks in that class, the Howell class, we thought they would go higher than they did. Right? And they really slip. I don't know if that happens this year. I really don't. Like, I'm going to tell you this right now. Shedeur Sanders goes to the Cleveland Browns. My God, that's a death sentence. My God, that's a death sentence. He's not going to want to be there. Like, no, G. Reed, let me ask you this, G. Reed. Was Willis all hype? Or did Willis just get put in a bad situation? Look at what he did under LaFleur. Look at how good he was under LaFleur. This is why I've got my doubts with Vrabel in New England, G. Reed. He is not a quarterback developer. Tannehill had already been in the league for like 7 years by the time he got him. This is why I don't think the Vrabel hire was the best hire for Drake May. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I really don't. Now, what might have saved Drake May was they brought Josh McDaniels back. That might have saved Drake May. Because Josh McDaniels worked with Tom. But again, Josh McDaniels doesn't have a great track record with young quarterbacks, or, when he's been outside of Bill Belichick, he doesn't have a great track record with quarterbacks, so we'll see. But, yeah, exactly. That's why I have Tyler Show at 5, and I don't have him going. It's because of what Robert just said. You're pretty much at near your ceiling. There's not much more of a ceiling. Like, I've been watching Tyler Show since he came in to college football out when he came into Oregon, because he was a highly touted high school recruit. And remember, he took over for Justin Herbert. And I remember watching some of his high school film and being like, oh crap, this kid might be. But what's happened? Let's be real. Let's talk about him. Okay? He is going to be 26, and look at the plethora of injuries he's had already in his collegiate career. The reason why he's still playing college football up until this age is because of all the injuries. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. But, yeah, it's all going to be this class especially. It's all going to be about situation. I think Cam Ward is the type of guy where he might be able to play better in light. I'm not going to say like lights out, but he could play better, in spite of this situation than most guys in this class. So, like, I think Jackson Dart in the right situation could give you starter reps in year one. I'm telling you, you put Jackson Dart with McDaniel or Shanahan or McVay and look the F out. Or like LaFleur, but he's not going to need him, right? You put him with someone from that Shanahan tree, Jackson Dart, and watch out. Watch out. Watch out. For real. Same thing with Milroe. If he goes to the right situation, like what Love did with LaFleur, and he sits for 2 years and someone polishes him, look out. Kyle McCord and Jackson Dart are my two man crushers. Kyle McCord is... I love him. I think that's, if you could get him on day 3, that's who I want as our developmental backup. I think he's perfect. I think he does a lot of the stuff we'd want a quarterback to do in this offense. But will he be there? And like, I prefer round 5, not use one of those 4th round comp picks. Brother, I think Dart's going in the first round, dog. I think Dart's going top 20. Well, I'll use our Tua wasn't in the right situation with Godsey and Stoodsville and Chan Gailey, but if you watched the film and knew what you were watching, you saw the okay, he's playing it this way. If he plays with a better coaching staff and he plays with better talent around him, that's why I never declared him a franchise quarterback. But what would I say? I would say the film tells me if you give him a better staff and better talent around him, you probably have a franchise quarterback here. And then sure enough, we got McDaniel. We got more talent around him. The Ravens comeback happened in year 1. And I said, yep, told you, a franchise quarterback right there. And then he's led the league in completion percentage, passer rating, and passing yards since. So I think there's certain guys where you can watch the film and they're in the wrong situation and you can still say to yourself, this guy is playing above the situation he's in right now. So I just used 2 as an example. There's plenty of other examples that have existed in the NFL. Like, I'm just using one you guys can relate to in terms of Tua Tagovailoa. But there's plenty of situations where you saw the talent and you're like, man, just get that guy in the right situation. And oh my Lord. Like, look at Baker Mayfield's another one. Cleveland gave up on him. Right? Because he went to the wrong situation. He still took him to the playoffs and he went to one of the worst situations. And look at how he's playing in a better situation with Tampa. They made the playoffs every year since, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there's, levels to it. And I think there's multiple examples of when you watch the film on players, you're like, okay, he's in a bad situation, but holy geez, get him in the right situation. I think we all said that with Drake May last year too, right? You were looking at it, you're like, man, put this kid with some talent around him, get a good coaching staff in place for him, and you got something with Drake May. Did I agree with him making the Pro Bowl? No. But you saw the flashes. You saw the, okay, I see it. You know what I mean? So, hey, it is what it is. Don't ever let it be what it ain't. So, yeah. So, yeah, bro. I'm sorry. I'm done on Kendall Lamb. I'm moving off. What do I think about Miles Price? I like him, but the problem is, do we need another, sub 5'11", sub 190 guy? What is he like? I think he's like either 5'9" or 5'10". He's like 180 or 185. Like, do we need that? Like, we're bringing back Tajay Washington. You know what I mean? Are you talking about Joe Milton? Let me know if you're talking about Joe Milton, Dennis, because if you are, I literally did a video on it. So I literally did a video on that if you are talking about Joe Milton. Because, yeah, if you're talking about Joe Milton, It just depends. It depends on what you can get him for. Right? Like, if I can get him for one of those 4th round picks, yeah, let's talk. Here, I put the link in the chat. There's my video on Joe Milton. All right? Right there. It's in the chat. Go check that out. I put some film in there and stuff too. Yeah, if you can get a 4th round or 5th round pick, yeah, I'm not giving a 3rd round pick. But Brady Cook, ooh. Man, if he's hanging around in the 5th round, that's interesting. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes some players make you go back to the film. He made me go back to the film. He didn't, he didn't move up in my rankings. He's still I had him as a top 10 quarterback in this class. But like outside of the top 5. You'll see when I drop those rankings. If I get him in the 5th round, let's go. Bro, I've been done. I've been done with the Tanner Connor experiment. You don't have to tell me. I've been done with that. Okay, I was done last offseason. And for some reason, we keep trying here. So, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So, no thank you. All right. Let's get into this. We got a couple things to go on. That's why I want a tight end. Hey, good segue. Thank you. Let's start off. This is one of the deepest classes when it comes to tight end in recent memory. Now, here's what's happened. Some guys tested really well. Like I thought you could have a shot at Mason Taylor at 48. Probably not getting a shot at Mason Taylor at 48. He's going probably, I think, at the top of the 2nd round. Okay? I think he's going in the first 10 picks of the 2nd round. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Especially in such a weak receiver class. Colston Loveland, I think, is going to go in the 20 to 25 range. Warren, I think, goes top 20. Terrence Ferguson made him some money. He's probably going to go in the first 4 rounds. I think Gunnar Helm at his pro day when his ankle's better. Gunnar Helm might have raised his stock by completing those drills on that ankle. Because people are looking at him like, what a competitor. What a tough mother, you-know-what. And we like that at tight end. That's the type of stuff you look for at tight end. So he might have raised his stock a little bit by running those 40s, even though the times weren't ideal, and he looked faster on film with that swollen ankle due to the false start. And then finished the on-field workouts with that ankle because he wanted to show off. Man, I'm telling you, you look at the film and you're like, man, this guy is a baller. You watch that, and you're like, man, this guy's a baller and a competitor. He might have made some more money. So my point is, I think you're going to have more after the combine. I think you're going to have more tight ends go in the top 4 rounds than we originally might have thought. Harold Fannin running a 4.7. Yeah, we wanted to run the 4.6, but you watch the film, a dynamic playmaker. You can use them all over the field, ultimate chess piece, etc., etc. Someone who might be hurting his testing and might stick around on, to the 5th round is Elijah Arroyo. But I'll tell you this much. If he goes and tests at his pro day, it's probably going to be, he's probably not going to get out of the 4th round. So you look at the Miami Dolphins. We got 10 picks this year. Okay. We got a pick in the 1st, 2nd, a comp in the 3rd, and 2 picks in the 4th. So 5 of our 10 picks are in the first 4 rounds. Had we not traded up to get Jalen Wright last year, we'd have a 1st, a 2nd, 2 3rds, and 2 4ths. But alas, we did, and Jalen going to pay us back this year when he balls. Watch out. So you got to ask yourself the question, does it make sense to explore the trade market? Now, a report is out right now. This was aggregated by everyone from Dov Kleiman to everyone, but here's the original report. Vincent Bosignor says he's been told multiple teams have been doing due diligence on Raiders tight end Michael Mayer. Multiple sources indicate the Raiders are trying to trade Mayer, who's heading into his third season. Quote, plenty of teams are interested. And this is spreading like wildfire a little bit right now. Michael Mayer was my tight end too. But he was one of my man crushes from the 2023 draft class. So when you look at my man crush list from that year, in 2020, what was it? 2023? Yeah, 2023. I believe it was Sam Laporta was my guy in that draft, 110%. Sam Laporta was my number one guy in that draft. Everyone knows I love me. I absolutely love me. Iowa guys. And Michael Mayer went the pick right after. Laporta went 34. Mayer went 35. Actually, I stand corrected. My man crush was Tucker Kraft, but it came down to Tucker Kraft and Michael Mayer in that second slot. Point is, I really like Michael Mayer. I had him as my tight end 2 in that class. He does a lot of the stuff they're looking for right now. You know, I thought he was one of the more complete guys coming out of that draft class. I thought he had a really high floor too. He's good route runner for his size. Stems his routes really well. He's a really good run blocker. He's reliable in pass pro. You know, he can get up there and make contested catches. The problem was he wasn't generational like Bowers, and he really suffered from poor quarterback play. You know, 6'4", 265. He's a big boy. Now, he's not a home run threat. You're not talking about an explosive player who's going to be a consistent yak threat. But at Notre Dame, he was known as a big locker room guy. He was known as one of the big leaders on that Notre Dame Fighting Irish team. Now, I believe he stepped away from some time last year because he had some personal stuff going on. And now that he's on the block, listen, this is where I stand with it. This might surprise you because I tell y'all it's the deepest tight end class. I'm going to tell you this much. If you're sitting there, all right, let's just theorize right now, okay? If you're sitting there in the 4th round, all right, and you're at like pick 115 or 135, let's say, do you think you're going to, and you haven't got your tight end yet, because let's be honest, I think they're going to invest more time with Julian Hill, but Durham Smythe is gone. I agree with who said it earlier. You need to end the Tanner Connor experiment. You know, I'd rather see what I got in Hayden Rucci than Tanner Connor at this point. But if you're sitting there at 115, 135, is there going to be a better option at tight end on the board for you? That's what you got to start. It's kind of like what I said about Joe Milton. You know, is there going to be, I think Shedeur, Dart, Milroe, and Cam are obviously all going to be gone by the end of the 4th round. They're going to be gone by 135. Milton's probably, if you could trade 135 for Milton, are you going to find a better quarterback at 135 if you want a backup? And the same thing kind of can be said here with tight end. You know, I think Warren, Loveland, Fannin, Arroyo, Mason Taylor, Gunnar Helm, and possibly Terrace Ferguson will probably all be gone by 115. I think now you're getting into the Jackson Hawes. Maybe Luke Lachey is probably your best option sticking around at that point. You know, you're getting into the Jake Brenning-Stools. I'm not a big fan of Aronde Gatson. He's more of a big slot. You know, it's too rich for now for a guy like Jalen Connors or CJ Dupree. You know, it's yeah, Yeah. So you got to ask yourself, at that pick, is the best option going to, at 115, 135, is potentially the best option going to be Michael Mayer? You know, that's something I'd be exploring. But I'm going to tell you this much. Let's go further. I'd make that a draft day trade. That's something where I wait and see how the board falls. If that board is not falling the way I like it, all right, let's have a conversation about one of those 4th round picks. If one of those guys I named, between like a Royo or a Helm or even a Terrence Ferguson, are still on the board at 115, 135, you know, you could draft your own guy and mold them the way you want. So, but if those top 6 guys are gone and it's starting to get slim, I would think about 135 or 115. 135 preferably. For Mayer, because I don't think you're going to get better value if you're... Because they're going to add to that. They need to add to that position. Free agency, slim. I don't know. I mean, hey, you know where I'm down. You want to take Luke Lachey at 115? Man, yeah, I'm going to tell you this much. We want to watch that kid in his peak? Go put on Luke Lachey when Laporta was still there. Go watch Luke Lachey in open space. Go watch him. Go watch him. Great blocker. The reason why he struggled a little bit as a blocker last year is because he was coming off of a bad ankle injury, and so his base was a little compromised. That's why you saw issues with blocking last year. But you put on all those years of film, especially when Laporta was there, you got a willing, capable, and good blocker. And I'm telling you, and with his testing, look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Luke Lachey is there in the 5th, someone's getting an absolute steal. Absolute steal. So, like, I'd be down for Luke Lachey at 115, 135. I ain't gonna lie. But Michael Mayer, I'm telling you, depending on what is on the board, I'm telling you. Bro, Luke's a beast, bro. He just needs to stay healthy. That's been his problem. He just needs to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, man, and you go watch the guy who was there when Laporta was there, and you're gonna get he stays healthy, you're gonna get that on steroids, and that's scary. That's scary. Luke Lachey, I'm telling you, he's gonna fall to the 5th, maybe the 4th. I think the 5th, and someone's gonna get a steal. Watch. Mayer or Luke Lachey, which do you want? It's tough. Meyer's going into his 3rd year. He's already had NFL coaching. He's proven he can block at this level. Lachey, he's not proven yet. But the upside is... That's tough. That's a tough one. I would probably take Luke Lachey. Iowa just knows what they're doing when it comes to tight end, baby. I'm just saying, I don't know what. Oh my God, and the upside is just so enormous with that guy. I'm telling you, it's a very high ceiling with Luke Lachey, as long as he stays healthy. Now, continuing on, the path of the Miami Dolphins, an interesting name hit the free agent market. Honestly, I don't think you go wrong with either one, Mayer or Luke Lachey. Give me either or. Eagles, they are releasing yesterday Darius Slay, designated as a post-June 1st release. There you go. So, post-June 1st. You can't even sign him, technically, till after June 1st. So, here's the thing. a couple things about Darius Slay here. He's going to be basically been watching the market. He's going to see. He's going to look to go to a contender, and he's going to look to see which is the best situation and which is the best fit for him. I had someone in my chat yesterday ask me, Reason, should we sign Darius Slay? And I told that person, come back tomorrow, I'll be talking about it. So here I am talking about it. He's 34 years old, is Darius Slay right now. Okay? He's coming off a season where, it's not like, I mean, he had like, what, 16 pass breakups in 2024? Like most of his career. You know what I mean? Now, he was allowing more yards per reception than he did over the last 3 seasons. He's aging. I mean, he's aging. He's 34 years old. Listen, I would tell you this much, because I know people want to know, hey, because this screams Grier. I'm going to tell you why. Where was Jordan Poyer last year? Doesn't this scream the cornerback version of Jordan Poyer? Doesn't this? So this is what I would do. This is what I would do. This is where I'm at. Okay? Now, he only had 1 interception last year, but he had 8 between the 3 years prior to that. This is what I would do. I would offer him vet minimum. Why? Because A, he could outplay that potentially. B, that does not stop you. If Will Johnson falls into your lap at 13, you take it. Would you sit here and cry if you had Jalen Ramsey, Will Johnson, and Darius Slay on the vet minimum with Kader Kohou, Cam Smith, Storm Duck, etc. in the mix? I know I wouldn't. 1-year deal. Vet minimum. Coming off a championship. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm signing him for the vet minimum to hopefully put myself in a position where he's my cornerback 3. He wouldn't stop me from drafting a guy if the right guy fell to me. He just wouldn't. So if you're willing to play ball for cheap, because this is what he's going to be looking for. He's going to, this is what Grier's going to be looking for. Guys, I've told y'all with guards, and, maybe he signs one expensive guard, but the rest will probably be cheap. This is going to be cheap. If you could get him on a cheap cost, near the vet minimum, to come here for 1 year, with no guarantees that he's cornerback 2 with Ramsey, then yeah, I'm in. That corner room needs to be fixed. And you want to throw bodies at. He come off, and he just came off winning a championship. Come on, man. I'll have championship pedigree. But I don't want him. Let me be clear. I do not want him to be a Kendall Fuller replacement. That's it. And again, you can't sign him till post June 1st. So I'd still load up that secondary room. And you know what I'd tell him? If you drafted a guy like Will Johnson, I'll bring you in to compete with cornerback 2. You have a legitimate shot. If you beat Will Johnson out, okay. If not, you're the next guy up. That's what I do. Because again, you can't tell post June 1st. Hey, Reason, will you trade Miami's 13th pick? No. I like what you're thinking, though. Like, you're stacking picks there. 39, 41, 49, 72, and 149. Oh, actually, let me rethink about this. Because that's a lot. That is a lot. And the reason why I'm rethinking this is because of this. With that kind of, okay, so with that, you would have, this is what you'd have. You'd have 39, 41, 48, 49, 72, 98. You could package stuff together and move up. The problem is you're moving so far back. You're moving so far back, you're not getting up into the top 20. Right? And then you'd probably have to package 39 and 48. Yeah, that's dangerous. It's just so far back. You know, it's just so far back. Shout out to Penn Astridge. She gifted 5 NFL memberships. Sean Davis, Bob Oliver, Kristen Reinhardt, Rob Rain, Eric Ollie. Brutal. Shout out to Penn. Thank you for helping out and building the Phinside fam. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. So Scotty says, where are you, Scotty? Players can sign immediately if they get a post June 1st designation. I don't remember that. Let me see. Well, it can only be used on 2 players each given year. Can only use 2 of them, right? I'm trying to look. I can't find. Yes. No, yeah. No. Yes. Even though player is designated as post June 1st cut in the NFL, they can still sign with a new team immediately. So then my original point stands then. I'd still sign him for the cheap and go draft. He wouldn't stop me from drafting a Will Johnson or a guy if they fell to me. And yeah, a team can only have 2 post June 1st cut designations. But yeah, that's yeah, thanks for the correction there, Scotty. So I stand corrected. You can't wait. The teams don't get their money till after post June 1st, but we already knew that. But he can sign right away. I would still sign him. It still wouldn't change my stance. If I can get him near the vet minimum, man, we need bodies at corner right now. We need bodies so bad at corner right now. I would still sign him. Wouldn't stop me at all. You know, and it's kind of a, now what might not work in our favor is it's kind of a weak corner class when you look at it. The corner class is not really, really great. Darius Slay probably he jumps to the back up top now. Like DJ Reed, Chavarius Ward, Rasul Douglas, Byron Murphy Jr., Carlton Davis, Asante Samuel Jr. You know, like some of the top guys are slot guys. So, but yeah, Darius Slay probably is going to fall under it. Like there's like even like a guy like Paulson Adebo, I know he had an injury. I think he had a broken femur. He's going to get paid, you know? So, it's not really a great class. Not really a great class. Like, you know, everyone doesn't like the fact that Darius Slay is 34. Well, guess what? Stephon Gilmore's almost 35, and he's like, what, you know, what, like a top 7, top 8 corner in this free agent class? So, let's see this. Let's see. If McMillan and Banks are available at 13, who are you choosing? Is Armand Membo available? Because I'm taking Membo. If I have to go between McMillan and Banks, I'm probably going to take. I'm probably gonna. Ooh, that's tough. Probably gonna take Banks based on the fact that I don't trust them in free agency right now. Now, if you want to trade Tyreek Hill, then you take Ted McMillan. But I'd probably take Banks there. We got to get this fixed. Seriously. Yeah, that's why I said if we trade Tyreek, then I'll take Ted McMillan. If Tyreek's still on the roster, then I take Calvin Banks there. So, all right. So here's where I'm at. Darius Slay, near the vet minimum. I'm all in. Doesn't stop me from drafting a corner. Did the Dolphins miss an opportunity with Jevon Holland? The Dolphins did not franchise tag Jevon Holland or anyone as expected by today's 4 p.m. deadline. T. Higgins and Trey Smith got franchise tagged. One person involved in safety market said Miami did show interest in Holland, but he's expected to test free agency. All right. So, I mean, I wonder if they really did miss a chance to tag and trade him. I know it doesn't happen very often in the NFL, but he's clearly like the number 1 free agent. Right? Like, that's my thing. Like, he's clearly like, in terms of youth, he's clearly one of the top free agents. That's what kind of shocks me. That I don't know. That one to me is like, I'm kind of shocked that they didn't explore it. And now they could have, and we are not hearing anything about it. But man, I'm telling you, if he's like that highly touted as we keep hearing on the free agent market, try to get something for it. Now, they're gonna get a comp pick. Like, that's definitely for sure. They're gonna get a comp pick for sure with Jevon Holland. 110%. Like 110%. They're gonna get a comp pick for him. That man is about to be paid. That man is about to be paid. And the fact that we saw the numbers is about 17 million-ish a year is what they're looking for. I don't know about that. That is heavy. You're just not in a place where, I think we'll get a 3rd rounder. I think you'll end up getting a 3rd rounder on him. I think he's going to get paid. Like that's just where I'm at. I do think he's going to get paid big time. We got a 3rd for Robert Hunt, got a 4th for Christian. Would have been a 3rd if he played. So remember, a 3rd round pick is the maximum value. So I don't know. Now, if he gets 4 years, $68 million, similar to what Xavier McKinney did, then it looks like you're going to get a 4th round pick. So we actually need him to go out and beat McKinney's contract. Because if he beats McKinney's contract, you will get a 3rd round pick. If he's around McKinney's contract, we're going to get a 4th. So, personally, we know Jevon Holland ain't worth $17 to $20 million. If you can get a 3rd round pick for him, that's a win. 110%. Now, if there was a bidding war and there's going to be a bidding war, and you could have tagged him and traded him for a 2nd, oh my God. And now the question becomes, kind of off of what we did yesterday with the video, are they going to be bargain bin shoppers? And is that bargain bin shopping, is that going to lead to the Miami Dolphins getting a comp pick, or are they going to pay someone that offsets the comp pick? I don't think they're going to, I don't know, man. I mean, I'd be very interested to see who they're going to add. I would really want to see who they're going to add, for sure. So, yeah. Anyways, continuing on here, 6-pack of notes from Barry Jackson. As expected, the Dolphins did not use franchise tag on safety on Jevon Holland or anyone else. Holland will explore free agency, and the expectation is you'll find a richer deal elsewhere. The Dolphins have shown interest in keeping him, but Miami simply doesn't have the money to spend a ton on safety. Holland was the only candidate for the Dolphins franchise or transition tag, but it was always unlikely Miami would use a tag on Holland because he wasn't as impactful as they had been in the past, because the Dolphins are facing a salary cap crunch. Holland is set to become one of the NFL's highest paid safeties, ESPN's Jordan Reed said. The franchise tag for safety is $18.6 million, and Miami simply could not afford that. Only 2 players received the franchise tag, T. Higgins and Trey Smith. The Dolphins have had conversations with outside linebacker Bradley Chubb, according to league source, but his future remained undetermined as of mid-afternoon Tuesday. Chubb is now healthy after missing last season with a significant injury. Chubb returning on his current contract with a $19.45 million salary and a $28.6 million cap hit would be unrealistic for Miami, which will have about $14 million in cap space after Teron Armstead's restructure is processed. Miami needs to create substantially more. Chubb's entire $19.5 million salary for next season is not guaranteed. The Dolphins' 2 options would be releasing him, which wouldn't free up significant cap space until after June 1st, keeping him but with terms of the contract adjusted to save Miami money and cap space. The Dolphins are believed to have interest in keeping Chubb on their terms, but Chubb has a major say in that decision. Defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver has said he's excited about using Chubb, Phillips, and Robinson together at times. Chubb's 2025 cap hit would drop only about $1 million if he's cut before June 1st, but would drop to $9.1 million if he's cut with a June 1st designation. But none of that $19 million in spending money could be used by the Dolphins until after June 1st. Dolphins have shown some interest in re-signing starting nose tackle Benito Jones, but there haven't been serious discussions to this point, according to league source. Jones had 24 tackles, including 4 for a loss in 17 games and 15 starts last season. Jones returns, it would likely be a modestly priced deal similar to his contract last season. The Dolphins have also shown interest in re-signing Tyrel Dodson, but it remains to be seen if something materializes. Dodson had 36 tackles and 3 interceptions in 8 games and 3 starts for the Miami Dolphins after the Seahawks cut him. Dodson, Anthony Walker, and Duke Riley are all free agents. Jordan Brooks and Channing Tindall are the only veteran inside linebackers under contract. It could come down to price point for Jones and Dodson and several other incumbent Dolphin free agents of interest to Miami. The pool of potential Dolphin options with the 13th pick continues to expand. At one point early in the process, Malachi Starks was considered the only safety in Miami's range, but South Carolina safety Nick Amenawari helped his stock with the combine, and 13 would not be considered a reach for him. Dane Broger mocked Amenawari to Miami at 13 on Tuesday. Brugler also added a list of players in the range who haven't been mentioned by others as possibilities for the teams, including Tet McMillan and Boston College edge player Donovan Izaraku. I don't think they're taking him. ESPN's Reed mocked guard Will Campbell to Miami in his latest mock draft. Knowing the Dolphins need help up front, Campbell would be a major need. According to Reed, players who could be in the Dolphins draft range in the second round, 48, include Xavier Watts, Siobhan Revel Jr., Carson Schwessinger, Ariante Ursary, JT Tumalalu, Oregon defensive lineman Jordan Birch, Elijah Rojo, and Alfred Collins. If you're going to say, hey, Reason, who would you want there? I'll take Schwessinger or Ursary. But then if Will Campbell's your first pick, then yeah, Schwessinger makes a lot of sense. And Siobhan Revel makes sense, and Watts makes sense there. So does Arroyo. In mocking Watts to Miami, Reed noted that he's one of the best ball hawks in this class. With 13 interceptions over the past 2 seasons, he has shown he can be consistent in run support. Yeah, I don't want JT Toimalalu. I don't want Jordan Birch or Alfred Collins there. It would be Schwessinger, Revel, Watts, or Arroyo if you're going with out of that group of people. For sure. Now, continuing on here with this thing, I had an update for all of you channel members. I let you guys know that, it is what it is. Yeah, I've heard some stuff out of the combine regarding Chubb, so I'll have that coming in a 3 takes episode and a Patreon update that should be coming this week. All right. Yeah, Chubb, it's not a lock for sure. It's not a lock. Not a lock at all. Now, in regards to the rest of that article and what was said, obviously Chubb is the big point. Benito Jones, it makes sense. They can bring him back for the cheap. He played really well for them. Tyrell Dodson, he's probably going to make my top 30 free agent target list. He's familiar. He had a couple games where he balled out. I would go bring him back. And it just makes a ton of sense. Linebacker, you're pretty weak at linebacker, for sure. And seeing how Nick Manowari has climbed boards makes me smile. Makes me smile. Thoughts on Willie Gay? I'm a fan of Willie Gay at the right price, for sure. I was a fan of Willie Gay coming out of college too. I'm a fan, for sure. For sure. I know someone also asked earlier. They had a really good one. Really trying to make me think. Armand Membo or Will Johnson? I'm taking Armand, baby. I'm taking Armand. I'm taking tackle 1. Will Johnson is technically corner 2 for me behind Travis. But I don't think you can go wrong with either guy, but I'm taking Armand Membo. I don't think he's going to be there, though. I think the dream is dead. I honestly think the dream is dead, and I'm sad. I am so sad. But that's just it. He just tested too well, and the film backs it up, man. It is what it is. I'm sad, Panda, but it is. And if you guys didn't see, Devontae Adams was released by the Jets today too. So Devontae Adams is on the open market. For all you people wanting a receiver. And there's no way they're bringing in a Devontae Adams. But just wanted to let y'all know it's falling apart in New York. And I love it. Guys, do me the favor. Smash the like button. Yes, I would move up to get Membo. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll tell you this much. Will Campbell or Armand Membo, I don't think you can go wrong. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I'll be back tomorrow night with Richmond and Mr. Ballgame. Thursday, I'll be back with Neil Driscoll. So a lot of content. And then Saturday, we will be live. And you know it's going to happen. We will be live. And we will be on Saturday going over my top free agents in this class and who we should be targeting. So be out on the lookout for each and every one of that. All right. And again, thank you to Penn Astridge for building the community and making it larger with her donation earlier. Appreciate you, Penn. Thank you, everyone, for coming through. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. We are under 30 away from 17K. Trying to do a 5-person giveaway at 20K, so let's get there. Fins up all day, every day. And we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.